Australia, New Zealand, welcome to Super Bowl week and welcome to NFL Blitz. Alongside Sam Acho, I'm Phil Murphy. We're going to be taking you through really everything right up until kickoff. We'll be there game day, New Orleans, Super Bowl 59, Eagles and Chiefs. We're here in the Big Easy now, Sam. Louis Armstrong Park. New Orleans hosting its 11th Super Bowl. That ties a record in the NFL. All that said, the city famous for festivities and partying. What is the energy like to you as we now turn the corner to the biggest game in American sports?
Well, the energy is going to build. This is the earliest I've ever been to a Super Bowl. Usually I come in on a Thursday or a Friday and the energy starts to swell. But it's early in the week and you're already seeing people come in. When we landed, you had the Super Bowl greeters with their signs, handing out Mardi Gras beads and handing out Super Bowl hats. And so for me, I'm excited to watch the energy continue to swell and build as the Super Bowl week continues.
And their familiar opponents as well. If you remember Super Bowl 57, it was Eagles and Chiefs in Glendale, Arizona. Kansas City won narrowly. Now they're here going for a three-peat. We're going to be talking a lot this week with Dan Orlovsky joining us on the desk, Jeff Saturday, Louis Riddick. We have a 90-minute pregame show kicking off from 9 a.m. Monday morning, leading you up till kickoff. Chris Fowler on the call of the game. Sam, all of that. What excites you most as we sit here right now with these two teams about to square off to figure out who's the king of the NFL?
Well, I'm still a football player at heart, so what excites me more about this whole week is the actual game. Like, I want to go and watch the game. Who's going to win? Who's going to be the key players? Will it be a defensive star? Will it be a pass rusher? Will it be a tight end? So I can't wait to watch the actual game live and in person for the first time. It's exciting.
Well, we know history will be made Monday morning on ESPN. Our coverage starts at 9 a.m. But, man, we had that extra week off between the AFC and NFC championship games and the Super Bowl. My appetite for the NFL is building as well, plus the appetite of this city, famous for its food. We got to go enjoy some of these New Orleans delicacies.
Let's go. So, Phil, we've been here for just about a day, yet the name we keep on hearing is a restaurant called
Antoine's.
Antoine's.
Oldest family-run restaurant in New Orleans on its 5th generation, and it's not luck that has a restaurant last nearly 2 centuries. You come to the French Quarter, you want the culture, you want the cuisine, you come to Antoine's.
Enough talking. Let's go eat some food.
Yeah, food's waiting. Operating continuously for coming up on 2 centuries, Antoine's is intrinsically part of this city's fabric. Antoine's has endured multiple world wars, Prohibition, Hurricane Katrina. With their oysters Rockefeller, so named for the richness of the sauce, to world-class entrees and endless wine selection, Antoine's has hosted countless celebrities, from presidents to musicians to movie stars. So our palates arrive at the table, ready for a formal introduction to this historic establishment. So Sam, we have a multi-course meal here, some souffle potatoes. Charles is serving us oysters Rockefeller. We have the pompano pontchartrain in front of you. We're gonna go through all of this and tie this into the NFL. We also have a special dessert coming up, but let's start with the souffle potatoes in béarnaise sauce. I'm gonna get, ooh, these are puffy. These are light.
These are delicious. They remind me of something football related.
What's that?
Remind me of the Eagles offensive line.
Okay.
Because this is a foundational piece when it comes to what you're going to eat. It's puffy, it's light, but it's everything you need when it comes to trying to have winning football. Offensive line, that running game, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, everybody on that offensive line helps lead the Eagles towards victory. So for me, this reminds me of the offensive line of Philadelphia.
I was listening I'm kind of distracted by the food in front of us. Béarnaise sauce is out of this world. Again, authentic taste of New Orleans here. Then Sam, you got a run game in the Eagles. They run the ball 51% of the time. That's more than any team. You think meat and potatoes diet, the old football adage, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but there is a little bit of a light-footed flair to the Eagles run game.
Yeah, light-footed flair, but that goes to, yes, the size, the meat, and the potatoes. These are big physical football players. But go back to Mailata. Remember that play last week, the first play of the game? He pulled as a left tackle, got out in space, knocked people over.
Giggling as he did it.
Bingo. So there is this light flavor and this light touch, but also this is the foundation, the meat, the potatoes, the run game of any winning football team.
And these souffle potatoes were created by Antoine Alciator, the gentleman over your shoulder who established this restaurant way back in 1840. So this is one of the original menu items on this restaurant, the oldest family-run restaurant in America. His son, Jules Sam, was the creator of Oysters Rockefeller in 1899. And listen, we all have our strengths and we have our comforts in foods. Oysters Rockefeller is a little bit outside of yours, so I'm going to take the bite.
All right.
You tell me what the Oysters Rockefeller, with its proprietary, we still don't know the secret recipe. They told us it has about 15 kilos of butter when they start to serve it. But this feels like something of a fancy dish.
Well, it sounds expensive. And you're talking about things that are expensive. Rockefeller, I think about Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
The $500 million quarterback who is actually worth every single penny. First, you saw that contract, you're thinking, this is crazy. This guy's overpaid. But all of a sudden, it looks like the team is getting him at a discount. So you say oysters, you say Rockefeller, I think Mahomes.
So you polished off your oyster faster than I did.
It's
so
delicious. It was worth it. Worth every penny.
I think we have a convert. You might be moving from Texas over here to the French Quarter. Sam, let's get to the main course, the Pompano Parchartrain. This is one of the top items sold here at Antoine's. The Gulf Pompano Filet, butter poached jumbo crab lump crab meat.
You're getting distracted by the food like me. I'm waiting to eat. I'm like, do I need to wait for you? Do I take my bite?
It's a filet, it's an entree, it's a staple, but there's so much to this that builds on top of what was already by itself would be a tasty delicacy.
And the reason I love that example is that this dish reminds me of the Kansas City Chiefs defense. You talked about how there's so much to this meal. When you think Kansas City, you think offense, you think quarterback, you think Andy Reid, you think Patrick Mahomes. But you think about why they won their Super Bowl last year, it was Steve Spagnuolo. The great thing about Steve Spagnuolo, the great thing about this dish, is that you talked about it being exotic, but the thing is, like, you're not used to some of these flavors coming together. You're not used to, you talk about the secret recipe. Like, that's one thing that Steve Spagnuolo does better than anyone else. He'll have a corner blitz that hasn't blitzed before. He'll have a safety blitz that usually is back in coverage. And so as a quarterback, and you're looking at defenses, you're thinking, okay, I know, or I think, or maybe, and all of a sudden that doubt creates some hesitation. Hesitation leads to mistakes. I'm not hesitating on this meal, by the way.
You are not. We were talking about eating slowly to get through this.
No,
You're powering through like you're coming off a blitz. Sam, this has been a world-class meal, world-class teams in this game this weekend. I think we need one more thing. I have space for one more thing. So let's invite in Charles, a man, fourth generation here at Antoine's, including 3 generations together for a spell in the late 90s. What do we have here, Charles?
Well, you can't come to New Orleans for Super Bowl without having Baked Alaska. To ESPN.
Hey!
Let's go.
Right? I've got one more surprise for you.
Okay. Yeah, Charles warned us to have wide splits in
Yes,
this formation.
That's what I heard. So this is world famous Baked Alaska's ice cream, surrounded by pound cake, topped with meringue, baked in the oven. It's excellent, world famous in Antoine's. And then here we have Grand Marnier, triple sec, brandy, cinnamon, and of course, a little flame. Since you're in New Orleans, you have to do it right. How they say, burn, baby, burn, let the good times roll. Nicely done.
Wow.
Gentlemen, if I may, one more thing to top it off.
Yes, sir.
Can't do it without chocolate sauce. All right, gentlemen, enjoy. Baked Alaska.
The aroma of this, I mean, it's just like a moth to flame.
Literally to flames. The presentation, the aroma, but enough of the fire. Let's dig in and taste this.
That was going to be way too big of a bite for me to take on TV.
Man, there's no such thing as too big of a bite.
So we had this Super Bowl 2 years ago. Great pairing. The Eagles got here, terrific offense. They scored 35 points in a loss. Sam, what's our football tie-in for Baked Alaska?
Oh, this is easy. This is Saquon Barkley. This is Saquon Barkley. And the reason why is this Baked Alaska is a dessert. It's a little bit extra, right? A little bit sugar, a little bit extra. But that's what Saquon Barkley has been to this Eagles team. The Eagles have been known for their running game, even since Nick Sirianni got there as a head coach. Early in his tenure, he passed the ball, but it became run, run, run. Now all of a sudden, the team that was just in the Super Bowl added a running back who's having a career year in Saquon Barkley, jumping over people backwards, scoring the first time he touches the ball. And so this dish is hands down Saquon.
So if you're ever here in the French Quarter, make an appointment, get to Antoine's, and also make an appointment Monday morning, 9 a.m. ESPN. Something for your football taste buds as well. Welcome back to the Blitz alongside Sam Acho. I'm Phil Murphy. We're in the heart of the French Quarter, Jackson Square. Sam, I can see Café du Monde. It's time for a segment that we've run a lot on the Blitz.
Yeah.
No dumb questions. So I have my questions here.
Oh, before you do that, we're in New Orleans. We got to do this thing right? We're in New Orleans. Come on, man. Get it done the right way.
All right, we'll put the lid off for safekeepings. And authentically Jackson Square, New Orleans, French Quarter. So Sam Acho, decade-long NFL veteran, played in a national championship at the college level. Okay, here's a stat. Teams to wear white jerseys have won 16 of the last 20 Super Bowls. You'd think advantage Kansas City. Sam, does that matter? Do players care what color jersey they wear?
Well, technically, players don't care what color jersey they wear. It's a Super Bowl. They want to play. They just want to be on the field. But I will say, as a guy who's played in a national championship with white jerseys, though we lost, it felt good to wear those white jerseys. So I think there is a little bit of a psychological effect of players that say, okay, I want to wear this certain kind of jersey or this certain style, whether home or away. That gives you a little boost of confidence.
That week layoff gives us all kinds of time to break things down. Okay, so with that, how does that extra week of preparation change as you travel to a new city?
Well, it's everything, especially when it comes to the Super Bowl, because not only is it another week of preparation, but now you come a week before your actual game. So you're not practicing at your facility. You're not staying at home. You're staying in a new city. You're practicing somewhere else. And so you have to get in a new routine. People think about it. Guys have certain massage therapists that they like to use, or maybe it's dry needling, or maybe it's different types of food they like to eat. So sometimes you have to bring your whole staff, your whole team to you.
Yeah, there are some extra calories to be found here in New Orleans if you're not on the up and up. All right, Sam, this is Super Bowl 59, Chiefs, Eagles. You grew up in the great state of Texas. They love their football. What is your favorite Super Bowl memory?
My favorite Super Bowl memory actually involves the Eagles. It's Brandon Graham sacking Tom Brady late in that fourth quarter, getting that sack fumble a few Super Bowls ago that helped the Philadelphia Eagles win. So that memory for me was huge. I played outside linebacker. My brother played for the Eagles. Yeah. I know Brandon Graham personally. So seeing a pass rusher, an outside linebacker, make the game-saving play was everything.
Emmanuel was on the field with us for that one for Super Bowl 52. Now, you talk about Eagles. Herm Edwards, friend of the show, he played with the Eagles in a loss to the Raiders early in his NFL career and vowed he would not watch a Super Bowl the rest of his time as a pro until he was involved in the game as a player or coach, and actually waited until he was an analyst at ESPN. How many guys have a superstition like that? I
would argue every guy has a superstition like that. So I've never been to a Super Bowl. And the reason why I played 9 years in the NFL, I've been at ESPN for 4, and I said, I'm not going to go unless I'm playing in the game. So even though they would give us tickets, I never went during my 9-year career. Even after that, I was part of the NFL Players Association. I was given tickets. I never went. I said, I'm not going even at ESPN unless I'm covering the game. And now I'm covering the game.
That's 15 years of Super Bowl tickets you've turned down.
I have.
All right. So, Sam, I'm grateful that your first voyage into the Super Bowl will be with us here on ESPN. Do you think, Sam, with the halftime show, Kendrick Lamar this year, do you think some players, maybe not integral to the game's plan, will try and sneak out and catch the halftime show?
Absolutely. I think the starters, the guys who are focused, they'll be dialed in. But the guys who are like third string, fourth string, might try to pop out and sneak and see Kendrick. Just 1 or 2 songs. That's it. Just a little bit of halftime show. We saw Lamar Jackson say he wanted to go see Beyonce when they played the Houston Texans. So I think there's going to be a couple guys that go out and see Kendrick.
And when these teams played a couple of years ago in the desert, there were players who said they were going to sneak out and try and catch Rihanna's halftime show. And let me tell you, it was worth it. It was phenomenal. Sam, players are here. The cadence of the week trip for them, as you mentioned, is a little different. Do you think players will try and get to see the city, or is this purely going to be a business trip? We'll enjoy New Orleans some other time.
I think players will get a chance to see the city. I get it. It's a Super Bowl. It's a big moment. It's a huge opportunity. But you're here for an entire week, and so you have your week schedule, which means usually you have a practice earlier in the week, you have a day off. So I think the players will have a time, whether it's on their off day, maybe it's after some of the practices, to be able to see the city. I remember in the national championship, we got a chance to go and check out some of the city as well. We played in LA, and so we're in the California area, Pasadena, so we'll be able to see it.
All right, last dumb question for now. How difficult is it to sort out tickets for family and friends for big games?
Oh, it's impossible. Because think about it, everyone thinks you have more than what you actually have. So people think, oh, you're playing in the game. People you haven't heard from since high school are going to be reaching out and say, hey, Phil, long time no talk. Let me get tickets. They don't realize that, number one, the ones that you aren't allotted, you have to pay for, and those are a pretty penny. And so you're thinking about family, friends, your parents' family, your parents' friends, your friends' friends. Everyone's going to want to latch on to join you to the big game.
Hey, smart man with no dumb questions. This has been No Dumb Questions, but in truth, there's an event to start off Super Bowl week that is defined by dumb questions, and we had some of our own on opening night.
If he wasn't doing that, I would say he'd probably be a singer.
I can see him being like maybe a social media person. Easy answer would be like construction worker.
Probably security for somebody. No, he's so big, man. He's got to be protecting somebody. Obviously, he could really sing if he wanted to be his own out, be a singer.
Probably a musician.
Probably like a movie star. What would he be? He'd probably be a professional singer. I've heard him say it's pretty good. I'm pretty sure he has like a album or something, like a Christmas album.
I'd probably still be working at Woolworths. It's like a grocery chain back home. Shout out to Woolies.
What's something that we just don't know about Jordan?
Mylata.
Wait a minute.
He absolutely shreds on the ukulele.
He's a sweetheart. He's a beautiful person.
I don't know. I feel like he's a pretty open guy, but he knows a lot about them. I hear him singing in the locker room all the time. That's probably where I get the idea for him being a professional singer.
He's an open book. Everybody knows everything. So you play guitar. I don't know if you know that.
I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body?
Oh, he'd be a supervillain. I mean, he's ginormous. He's a superhero. He has nothing but good in his heart. I can't see him hurt somebody out of malice, unless it's on a football field.
Superhero. Was he's a likable guy, a kind person.
Oh, it's super villain for sure.
Way more of a superhero.
I see him as a monster, a dangerous monster. If he had fangs, we had to put him in a cage at night. That's what I see him as.
Welcome back to NFL Blitz. You know Sam Acho, you know myself, Phil Murphy. Let me introduce you to master storyteller Luke from French Quarter Phantom Ghost Tours. And Luke, we hear ghost tours. I mean, it makes it a little bit uneasy. Tell us a little about the lore of the city of New Orleans.
Absolutely. So we are hands down the most haunted city in the U.S. International Paranormal Society says we're the most haunted city. Ton of stuff going on. We got hotels with haunted by little kid ghosts who mess with you and pull pranks and scare you and freak you out. We got this bar behind us, one of the oldest bars in the South, certainly the oldest bar in New Orleans, haunted by Jean Lafitte and his pirate crew. All kinds of stuff going on to freak you out here in the city.
Sam, as Luke was taking us through some of these areas of the French Quarter, there was palpable tension between you and I. How are you feeling about all this?
I'm feeling freaked out. Very much like you said, I'm already freaked out. And I haven't even walked in yet.
Yeah. Well, Luke, you are a master storyteller, and you have some daytime tours as well.
We do, yeah. So if you don't want to do the ghost, you're too scared, come check us out during the day. We do all kinds of history tours, music tours, just about everything history and culture of New Orleans, FrenchQuarterPhantoms.com. Appreciate you guys today. Enjoy the city. It's a cool place to be.
Thanks so much for the Southern hospitality, my
Absolutely. Have a good one.
So, Sam, in this Super Bowl game, I mean, we'll leave the ghost stuff to the side for a second for both of our benefit. Eagles and Chiefs met 2 years ago. I mean, the Eagles have said they're haunted by that loss. How do you think they're feeling coming in, seeing the same opponent across from them that they saw 2 years ago in Phoenix when they fell just short?
Yeah, there can be a sense of fear when you're going against a team that not only did they beat you, but they still have a lot of the same players, specifically quarterback, specifically defensive coordinator, right? The same faces, the same schemes that beat you in years prior. And so, yes, there can be a sense of confidence underlying, but really there's that sense of fear. Can we overcome this big-time obstacle?
And you have to look no further than the quarterback position. In the last 50 years, there's been just one QB to lose his Super Bowl debut, as Jalen Hurts has, and then ever get back to win a Super Bowl. So what kind of hoodoo is there for Jalen Hurts now? Again, specifically carrying the weight of this city in the hopes of this team to get over that hump and outscore Patrick Mahomes.
Well, there's a heavy weight for Jalen Hurts, but it doesn't have to be that heavy. I think one of the benefits of having such a loaded team through the Eagles is you can take some of the pressure, some of the weight off of the quarterback. So guys like Saquon Barkley got to step up. Talk about the defense, right? Vic Fangio leading that defense. He's got to do a great job. And so, yes, the weight of a quarterback, he feels that. He doesn't have to. Teammates can help take that off of his shoulders.
And on the other side, very little that scares Kansas City, but they are in a way chasing ghosts, namely Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady, as we have the conversation of who is the greatest of all time. How much is the result of this game, do you think, how much of a bearing will it play on him in that conversation at the end of his career?
Well, it'll be everything. Think about it. To have 3 straight Super Bowls, that hasn't been done. And so not only are you doing it, but you're doing it at such a young age. And so the success early on, I get it. This game's all about longevity. Tom Brady's done it for a long time, over 20 years. But the rate in which Patrick Mahomes is winning, hard to deny.
Why do he and the Chiefs strike so much fear into opponents? They've won 17 straight one-score games.
I think it's because of that. They know how to win in close games. In football, we say that winning is contagious, so is losing. They've caught that illness, if you will, of winning. They know how to win, even if they're down early, they're down late, maybe a blocked field goal, maybe a blocked extra point. They do those little things well, and that leads them to these tight victories.
Well, we just went on a ghost tour. We've been talking about a little the fear of everything. We're here in the French Quarter, Lafitte's blacksmith shop. I hear they have a famous purple drake. You want to go give it a try? We're finding somewhere else.
I'm gonna let you try that. I'll see you a little later on.
Sam's gonna take a walk. welcome back to the Blitz. Sam, Acho, Phil Murphy. All roads, Sam, leading to the stadium behind us. History to be made at the Caesars Superdome, Super Bowl 59. But we learned Wednesday here locally in New Orleans, Thursday morning, if you were tuning in online in Australia, some history going to be made. The NFL is going to Melbourne. The MCG, Rams, the home team. What's your initial reaction to this news being made official?
Well, number one, I'm excited. Number two, I wish I was still playing because I want to go to Australia. I want to play a game in front of the crowd. And so for me, I think the players are going to be extremely excited because now the NFL is expanding to a new territory, a huge fan base. Now you get a chance to play a home game overseas.
And we see 2025 is going to have 8 international games. Obviously, Australia expanding the footprint. They're going to get a Spain game for the first time in 2025. You played in this league. What can fans expect when they're able to experience the NFL in person for the first time?
I think more than just excitement, the fans can expect to get a real feel and touch of the players. It's one thing to see players on TV. It's another thing to be at the stadium and be able to feel and touch and to experience the action live in person. That's one of the best experiences you'll ever have. And so for me, it's more than just this far away TV screen. Now you can feel, touch, and be around the game.
And I'm excited for the energy in the stadium. We saw a preseason game, a quarter century ago in Sydney, drew 75,000 or so. The MCG is going to be packed out 6 figures. But Sam, the world is going to be watching. The Caesars Superdome is going to be packed out. The reason we're here in New Orleans, Eagles Chiefs, Super Bowl 59, we have a great guest lineup set up. We've already talked about it in the show. But to reiterate, Jeff Saturday, Dan Orlovsky, Louis Riddick. Once we get those guys on set, what are you most excited to kind of pick their brains about with this game coming up?
Well, different things. It's really the X's and O's, but for different reasons. Jeff Saturday, I want to hear about the offensive line play. Will Kansas City's offensive line slow down the dominant pass rush that Philadelphia has? Then when Dan Orlovsky comes, I want to hear more about, okay, what will Jalen Hurts do to try and get the passing attack going again? And so Louis Riddick, talk about the defensive backs, even the GM perspective of, okay, what pieces that have been added are going to be the biggest difference makers? And so each of these different analysts has a different perspective of the game. They all played it at a high level. I want to hear what they think about the outcome of the game.
And we talked about it a little bit earlier. As the big game approaches, the countdown's kind of going in these guys' head. They may only get one crack at this, or for the Chiefs, one more crack at this. What are these emotions going to be like for the players, at least drawing from your experience playing in a college national championship, as the hours start to tick down over the next few days here?
Well, you try to keep yourself calm. Playing in college national championships, even getting a chance to play in the playoffs in the NFL, you try to understand that it really is just another game, or at least you try to treat it that way. You try to have the same routine when you're going to sleep, waking up, what you're eating, etc. And I think that's the mentality, to treat it just like another game, though it could be the biggest game of your life.
It's a fantastic stage, Eagles and Chiefs. Sam, I know we're going to be talking about this here. Maybe this position for you may evolve, but what for you do you think will be the X factor to decide this game?
I think it'll be the pass rush of Philadelphia. I think guys like Jalen Carter are going to be the difference maker, but then also the pass rush really for the whole game. Maybe it's going to be a Chris Jones. I think one of these players, Brandon Graham's coming back, one of these defensive linemen on one of the teams, whether Philly or Kansas City, is going to be the difference. Could be George Karlaftis, could be Charles Omenihu, but I think it'll be a critical play by D linemen to change the game.
And quickly, I've respected your sartorial acumen all season. Is there some kind of a lean of the tip going with the Kelly, kind of a Kelly Green?
I mean, my brother did play for Philly, and Vic Fangio was my defensive coordinator when I was in the NFL for 4 of my 9 years, and so I have a little bit of a lean towards Kansas City, or excuse me, a lean towards Philadelphia. But we will see.
Yeah, a lot of time left to decide here. And we're going to be covering it with special editions of the NFL Blitz starting Friday night right here on ESPN. Again, joining us on the Blitz set, Louis Riddick, Jeff Saturday, Dan Orlovsky, all leading up to Monday morning, 9 a.m. from inside the stadium behind us. Caesars Superdome history will be made, Super Bowl 59 between the Eagles and the Chiefs. We will see you a lot more between now and then.